What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And wanted to talk about a couple things today. Mainly, of course, G17 that looks like it's going to be coming very soon here. Probably going to be the next patch is when we're going to be getting G17. And want to talk about a couple things like how to prepare, some areas of focus in the game that are going to be very important for the future of this game if you're an end game player. Now, I did make a video a couple days ago talking about trying to keep up with Marvel Strike Force and why you definitely shouldn't try to keep up with Marvel Strike Force because it's just not realistic. At the same time, though, I do think that effective planning will help you to be prepared for certain things that are going to be coming in the future. So ultimately, that is what this video is going to be about. May not be as buttoned up as usually some of my other videos are. Kind of just going to go off the cuff and just talk about some of the things that I'm noticing here and some of the things that I definitely do feel. But what kind of really prompted this was this data mine that we got a couple days ago, or I think it was like sometime this week or maybe sometime last week. Yeah, actually it was a couple of days ago, actually. And this data mine really kind of was telling, right? Now I saw a data mine earlier, like once the patch went live, that listed out Doom 3, but now we sort of have an infographic, and this is by Minball. Big shout out to Minball, man. It does a great job. Does a great job here with data mines. Tana also does a really good job with data mines as well, but it showed this, right? Doom 3 kind of laid out the difficulty tiers, showed you sort of what the enemies will look like from a stat standpoint, right? Like level 100, they're going to be T17. They showed you sort of what requirements you will need in terms of ISO. So ISO level 7, which I believe is ISO blue level 2, ISO level 8 here. ISO blue 3, I believe is what that is. And then down here, you'll see an ISO level 9 at the very end for the last difficulty. You're looking at ISO level 9, which is, I believe, ISO blue 4. So looks like you're kind of going to be working your way towards this here and working your way towards eventually losing some of your ISO, get into ISO level 4, blue 4, which is probably what you're going to be getting from this Doom 3 raids here. But of course, mention T17 here, which means to me, with our current level cap right now being at, we're getting 90, right, for this patch. That, in my opinion, was preparation for G17. I thought that was going to be the thing that was going to be coming here. And here we are seeing now in the data mines that G17s are probably going to be coming. I would say it's probably going to be next patch, which then means that I think eventually we're going to go down the road of probably getting Dark Dimension 6 or something like Dark Dimension 6. Depending on whether or not they're going to continue to do Dark Dimensions. We're not entirely sure if that's the direction that they're going to be going here. Kind of have a feeling that maybe they won't, but wouldn't be surprised if they continue to do that. So it kind of just prompted me to think about a couple other things here and sort of just like, how do you prepare for it all, right? And I think one of the biggest areas that I think some players have not necessarily ignored, but just kind of sort of been annoyed with, just based on the screen time and other things that are going on in the game right now, it's Cosmic Crucible. And I just think that Cosmic Crucible is probably going to be the most important game mode in Marvel Strike Force moving forward. Yes, Arena is incredibly important. You need to get your cores. Arena credits are also nice depending on if you're farming characters. Definitely if you're farming characters or open up Arena orbs, it is very important for you to get Arena credits and shoot it as high as you possibly can in an area like that. And yes, raids are always going to be important because that's where you're going to be able to get additional resources for your entire roster, gear, orbs. Like that's always going to be important as well. But I do think that Cosmic Crucible may be just on par and just as important as those two game modes, because I can tell you this right now, just based on the feel, and me and Ren, we've talked about this a couple times already. We definitely think that Cosmic Crucible, while they gave us an alleviation of gear tier 16 by putting some of the resources in this Cosmic Crucible store, we think that this was honestly just a preparation for future gear tiers like G17 and probably in the future G18, G19. And we can tell, right? Because if we look at the War Store, we usually, after some time, you get your orange, your teal, your orange gear War Orb 1, we got that for G14s. Then we got the orange gear War Orb 2, we got that for G15s. But they were like, no, we're not doing that this time. We're going to give you Cosmic Crucible in the Cosmic Crucible store. and that is where you're going to be going to purchase your G16s. And I can tell you right now, it's probably going to be the future where G17s are also going to go as well. So the question for me, I guess I hear a lot, is whether or not you should be building for Cosmic Crucible. And I do want to say, like, to a certain extent, like 85% of me is like, no. But then there's like that small 15 or 85 to 90% of me is no. And then like this like small like 10% where I'm like, yeah, you kind of may have to, depending on what teams they provide for you that are going to be Cosmic Crucible teams. And that's probably where it's going to feel bad, right? Because of a team like the Unlimited X-Men team that's just really good in Cosmic Crucible, but not great outside of that, it probably is not going to feel that great. But just because of all the gear that's tied to it and future gear that's going to be tied to it, how can you then ignore potentially building out some of these Cosmic Crucible teams? Now, let's pause here for a second. If you're focused on Arena, if you're focused on Raids, right? Your Darkhold team, Arena teams are probably going to end up being very good Cosmic Crucible teams. That is probably going to be a fact. That is going to happen. We're going to see it, right? Darkhold we've seen right now is great in multiple areas of the game. They're great in War. Some of the characters, like I said, I've used in Rage for funsies. Still, Eternals and of course New Warriors are the dominant Mystic team for your raid content. But of course, using Doctor Strange, Morgan Le Fay, like some of those characters can definitely get you through a node or two, which just makes it a little bit more fun. But two characters that I just mentioned, Eternals, right? Icarus and Cersei, those characters that you do build out, Omega Red, Emma, like those individual characters that you typically tend to build out for your arena content is probably going to be good for Cosmic Crucible as well, right? So yeah, 85 to 90% of the time, those teams and those characters, Secret Avengers, New Warriors, like those characters, Shang-Chi, like those characters that you end up building out for your arena and your raid content, they're gonna end up being good for Cosmic Crucible as well. So to a certain extent, I don't feel that you need to, or you have to build out a specific Cosmic Crucible team. Because I will say this right now, the Wakandans, in my opinion, are very much a skippable team. That's why I still only have those characters, other than Shuri, at Gear Tier 12. Don't think you need them. There's better teams that are out there that can beat the Wakandans. So therefore, I wouldn't go out of my way to beat those, to try to invest into those teams. However, I will say that there probably might be future teams for Cosmic Crucible that you probably will need to build out, and therefore you got to kind of pay attention to it. Because listen, you're not going to want to miss out on this gear. You're not going to want to miss out on the credits. And right now we're in preseason where not a lot of players, I don't think that the stakes are as high right now, but once we get out of preseason, when it finally goes live to the main season, although if you still do lose too many matchups, you could drop a certain tier, and of course then that means that you're gonna get less credits. But I think the stakes are gonna be higher once we start getting to this main season of Cosmic Crucible. So absolutely, you are going to want to try to do well in here and not ignore it. It is a PvP game mode that's going to be incredibly impactful and important for you to actually progress in this game. So, but the good news is that if you invest into arena teams, if you invest into raid teams, then you're probably going to have good Cosmic Crucible teams. I will also say this too, Scourge. I think if you're right now, I think honestly, like if I'm like putting like what's the source of importance in Marvel Strike Force right now, like what do you have to build in order to be successful in this game? It's you got to build out arena teams, you got to build out raid characters, or arena characters, you got to build out raid teams, you got to build your Scourge teams, right? I think Scourge teams right now for me are probably the third priority in terms of what you invest into right now. If you're an earlier player, obviously you have to build out characters for campaigns, but you try to kind of like kill two birds with one stone by investing into campaign characters that are going to be good for arena, they're going to be good for raids, that are going to be good for Scourge events, because that ultimately at the end of the day, the resources in this game aren't infinite, they're finite, right? So you got to be careful about how you invest into characters and how many characters you invest into at a time. So the best way to go about doing it is to invest into these priority characters and not overdo it on gear, not overdo it on trying to invest into too many teams, especially if you are free to play. You got to dwindle down what you're invested into. Make sure that whatever you invest into has purpose, and most importantly probably has multifaceted purpose for some of these game modes. But those are my thoughts, guys. I mean, I just wanted to talk about it, man. I wanted to have a quick discussion on it. Want to hear what your guys' thoughts are in regards to this too. Like G17, like how are your thoughts on it? Some of you probably don't even care about it, right? Like, unfortunately, I guess I kind of have to care about it because I am end game, whatever. I mean, I'm in Dark Dimension 5, so yes, I do need to care about it. Yes, I will be preparing for it. Yes, I will be investing into the arena, raids, and Scourge, but I still got my fun teams on the side too. My Uncanny, I'm loving them right now. That's a fun team for me because you have to have some fun in this game. Otherwise, this game becomes a dragon of war. So, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, whether or not you're sort of kind of thinking about G17 the way that I am. Are you seeing Cosmic Crucible as being probably the most important or one of the most important game modes in Marvel Strike Force the way that I'm seeing it as well? And definitely something that you can't ignore, right? All right, listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, guys, actually, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. I'll be safe. Bye. Notification squad. Oh yeah, hit the notification button too, so you know when the videos do go live. Bye.